Hey, what's happening, guys? How you doing? This is Eminem's motivation for the day. I wanted to get on and just share some very important points in some of my study time in reflecting on life during this season. We're in the Passion season, the Passover season, and I just wanted to share just a little bit with you. As you can see, I have company. I have my little bunny rabbit back here, and no, she has nothing to do with Easter. So many of you that thinks the bunny got anything to do with Easter, we need to have a lesson ourselves. We need to have a history lesson, but that's not what this is about. I wanted to share with you, greetings to you. Hello, Tamara. How are you? Ishmael, what's up, cuz? Good to see you guys. Remember, tag this to your friends. Tag it out to those that you love, your loved ones, your friends, your families, and those that you don't get along with. As I always do, sharing from the treadmill motivation, I wanted to sit down in the backyard and just talk with you briefly on how important life is, especially during this time. We tend to take life for granted, and I definitely don't want to take life for granted. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for the life that God has given me. I'm grateful for a lot of things that I've been blessed to have. Hey, Dad, how are you? I'm truly blessed to be in, as they say, a portion of good health. I'm grateful to the health that I have, but there's three very important things we need to remember in life during this time and during this season. And this is something that I came across in some of my study, and I wanted to share it with you. And like I say, I'm going to be brief. I'm sitting in the backyard chilling and just enjoying this Lake Elsinore heat today. It's amazing. You know, we go from freezing temperatures to I guess you can say hellish hot. It'd be hot out here. It'd be hot. But let me give you these 3 points and I'll get out your way. 3 very important things. You want to tag your friends and let them know that Eminem is on with his motivation for the day. It's been a little while, but I wanted to get on and say, hey, everything is all good. The first one is in a moment, it's possible to lose everything you lived for. In a moment, it is possible to lose everything you lived for. When you think about that, it's possible that you can lose practically everything that you lived for in a moment. This is why, Debbie, how are you? This is why we have to appreciate the life that we've been given and appreciate what we have and the people that we have in our lives. Appreciate them for who they are, why they are, and where they are in your life. Appreciate all that you have, because in a moment, and when you think about a moment, it can be in the twinkling of an eye, it can be within seconds, it can be in a nanosecond, it can be within minutes, that you can practically lose everything you lived for. Everything. Rita, how are you? Damien, how are you, man? Good to see you, Mr. Myers. And this is why it's important for us to really, Aaron, how are you? Good to see you. To appreciate life as life is and why life is so important to us. Because, number one, as I've said, in a moment, it's possible to lose everything you lived for. You think about your children, you think about your spouse, you think about your loved ones, you think about your career, think about your job, think about your home, your car. You know, those are the tangible things. But think about your life. You know, it's possible to lose your life. You know, you lived your whole life as an adult trying to achieve certain levels of success in your business, in your ministry, and with a moment, it can be taken from you. Think about that. In a moment, it can be gone. The second thing is credibility makes a difference in crisis. Credibility makes a difference in crisis. When you think about being in a crisis, what kind of credibility do you have? If you were in a crisis and people recognized you, okay, Think about it. Recognized you and who you are and what you represented. Is that enough to change your crisis? Is it enough to change your situation? You know, I've heard of pastors that have mistakenly. Matter of fact, I enjoy John Maxwell. He has a story, a tremendous story of how he was given a gift at one of his speaking seminars, and it was a gun. You know, somebody gave him a gun and said it was for his wife, for her protection when he's out traveling and things. And, you know, he was like, okay, great. You know, he really isn't into guns, but, you know, he's not going to, deny and reject the gift. So he, in all honesty and all sincerity, you know, he had put the gun in his carry-on bag, you know, because he was on his way back home, forgot all about the gun, completely forgot about the gun, and got to the airport and it came to him, oh my God, I got that gun in my carry-on bag. And before you know it, you know, they were x-raying his bag, and he was telling the guys, oh, I forgot I have my gun in my carry-on. Now, if it was you and I, how do you think that situation would end? But because of his credibility, even though that he was in a state that it's a federal offense to carry a gun or a concealed weapon, you know, through the airport, even though it was a mistake. You know, sometimes our stupidity, in the honesty of our stupidity, in the innocence of our stupidity, you know, we still have to pay the cost. We still have to pay the piper. Now, he was arrested, handcuffed, taken to jail. And it was amazing because he was saying that many of the guys there at the precinct, you know, we're talking Homeland Security officers, detectives, sheriffs, and all these people that were there at the police station. They knew him. They knew who he was. So that added to his embarrassment. So to say the least, he was embarrassed. He was embarrassed for himself. He was embarrassed for his family. He was embarrassed for his church. He was embarrassed for his ministry. He was embarrassed for those that followed him, because it was a simple mistake. It was just an honest mistake that he forgot that it was in his carry-on bag. But because of his credibility over the years and how he conducted himself and how he carried himself over the years. Mark, how you doing, my brother? Good to see you, man. It stood the test of time, and it allowed a change in his crisis because of his credibility. It allowed his outcome to change. Now, granted, he still had to pay, you know, for his bill. His bill was like $3,000. Now, here's the funny part to this, because, you know, here he is, a well-known speaker, you know, has spoken all over the world. And his credibility, you know, was now on the table. But because of his credibility, it made the difference in the crisis. It changed the outcome of his crisis. Now, granted, he still had to pay, you know, fees and this, that, and the other for his, as he called it, stupidity, you know, which was honest mistake that he forgot that his gun was in his carry-on. But here now his personal assistant knew that he was going to be traveling. Now this is how the story goes. His personal assistant knew that he was going to be traveling, and they gave him, you know, carry-on money, you know, money cash to be able to, you know, spend while he was out on his travelings. And so he had asked the officer, well, what's my bail? You know, because I have a speaking engagement here. I got a speaking engagement for the weekend, because he was going to be locked up for the weekend. It's amazing how when you get locked up, you know, it's always on a Friday and you always got to spend a night on the weekend. How many of us can testify to that? No, I can't, but many of you can, you know. And so he was detained on a Friday, and they told him, well, you know, you're going to be here for the weekend. We hope that you don't have big plans. He's like, yeah, I got major plans for the weekend. I got to speak at the Cathedral Center, you know, church. I got to speak at this event. I got to speak at that event. And they're like, He's like, well, what's my bail? What's my bail? He says, well, you can tell your son. Your son, I believe, is here. He can go out. He can go down and he can pay your bill. He's like, no. And they says like $3,000. So he got his briefcase He got his briefcase out, and he had a stack of $100 bills in his briefcase. And so here he is sitting at the table with all these police officers, right? And he's counting out, these $100 bills of, there's $3,000, 100, 100, 100, 100. And then all of a sudden, when he looked up, he had saw that all these detectives and police officers walked over to his desk, the desk that he was detained, and they were like staring at him. And, one of the officers, he got a smile about it. He asked, he says, besides being a public speaker, do you sell drugs too? Because he had all these $100 bills. And so now he had to explain that situation. But I said that to say this, that your credibility makes the difference in a crisis. Can your credibility stand for you? Can it allow you to make it through some of the crises that you might get yourself into? This is why in business, in personal matters, in your life, you need to have good credibility. You need to have a life that will testify for you without you really saying anything. Are you living that type of life? Are you leaving a legacy behind that will cause people to say, well, you know what? That person, character versus reputation. Exactly. That person left a legacy and they remember your name. Can anybody remember your name? It's like name association. When someone says Nike, what do you think of? When someone says Sony, what do you think of? When someone says Microsoft, what do you think of? You think of the people or you think of their product? Now, when they call your name, what do they think of? A lot of people don't think of anything because you haven't done anything. You haven't left a legacy. You haven't done anything to leave a legacy. You haven't done anything basically to leave behind such a name that people remember, that when they call your name, like my brother here, Mark Menard, when they call Mark Menard's name, there's so many things that they can remember or even know that he's doing. He's doing a tremendous thing right now. If you guys don't know his story, you need to look him up. This is my brother from another mother, Mark Menard. And if people call your name, what do they remember you by? What do they know you by? And this is why it's important to know that credibility makes the difference in a crisis. And this is why I try my best, and I do say I try my best to live a life that is pleasing not only to the Lord, but pleasing to my family, pleasing to those that I leave behind, my children, that when they hear my name, they said, Dad did this and he left this behind. He left a legacy behind. And that's one of the things that you want to always remember, is to leave a positive footprint in the sand. Leave a positive footprint in the sand. Now, the last thing, three very important points I wanted to share with you today in Eminem's motivation is be less judgmental. Let's let that one soak in a little bit. Be less judgmental. Think about all the things that you've done wrong. Okay, let's put it like this. Think about all the stupid things that we've done. I've done some pretty stupid things. Okay, now that didn't stop people from talking about me. That doesn't stop people from talking about you. But when you put the shoe on the other foot and then you look at it from a real perspective, say, okay, that could have been me, or that was me. Think about all the dumb things that you've done in your life. It should cause us to be less judgmental, because at any time we can do a stupid thing. And I do mean stupid. All of us, whether you realize it, whether you want to accept it, I don't care how many acronyms you got behind your name, we are all one step away from stupid. One step away from stupid. You need to share this with your friends. Let them know you're one step away from stupid. But it doesn't change the fact that we can change our outcome. You know, a lot of the blunders that we've had in our lives, a lot of the stupid mistakes that we've done in our lives, a lot of the dumb moves that we've made in our lives. Instead of really, I guess, concentrating and focusing on the wrong and the stupidity of our actions, let's just think about those situations and then use it for the positive. Use it in a way that will help you and help us to be less judgmental, because anything can happen to us at any given time in life. And if we think about those people that have made blunders, look at those that are in Hollywood, look at those that are in the government, look at those that are in churches that have made mistakes. Instead of being so judgmental and say, oh, and start pointing a finger, put yourself in their situation. Put yourself in that crisis. How would you feel? Would you want people pointing their fingers at you? Would you want people talking about you? No, heck no, definitely not. So let's be less judgmental. This is something that I'm constantly trying to work on myself, is be less judgmental, because it's so quick to make a comment. It's so quick to talk about someone else that has done something that we consider is wrong or stupid or made a bad decision, bad move. It's quick because it's the human nature. Somebody cuts you off in traffic. Somebody doesn't use a blinker. Somebody turns in front of you. See, all these little things, but because we're human, we're quick to be judgmental. We're quick to get upset. We're quick to fire off the handle. We're quick to make a judgmental statement. We're quick to get mad. That's the life. And this is something that we have to work on every single day. Every single day, we have to work on ourselves. We have to work on us. I have to work on me. And before I say anything, my dad, he said when we were growing up, he'd always say, I don't know if he remembers this, he said, taste your words before you let them pass your lips. Taste your words before you let them pass your lips. And if they don't taste too good, don't say anything. But you know what the old adage is, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. Many of us would be mute because we never have anything good to say. We're always complaining. We're always talking about people. We're always putting people down. We're always second guessing. Put yourself in those shoes. How would you feel? How do you feel when you've done something stupid, when you've done something dumb? So let's not focus on the stupidity. Let's not focus on any of those. Let's focus on what we want out of life. Let's focus on becoming better. Let's focus on, yes, it is a work in progress, most definitely. But it's a good work in progress. It's an ongoing, and at least you'll always be employed. At least you'll always have a job, because we're always working on ourselves. We're always working to better ourselves. We're always working to move from here to there. We're always looking to improve ourselves. We can talk about motivation. We can talk about success. We can talk about failure. We can talk about so many topics we can talk about. But it all boils down, what am I doing? What am I doing? What are you doing in order to change us? In order to change me? What am I doing to change me? Not you, change me. I come on here to motivate, but I have to motivate myself first. I have to motivate myself first, because there's times that I don't want to do this. I don't feel like being motivational, because I'm not motivational. I'm not motivated. I'm not inspired. How many of you go through that? But then you have to look at yourself and go, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about helping someone else. And then I get messages like, man, I hope you do your motivation. You inspire me. Oh, keep doing what you're doing. And see, that right there lifts me up. That right there inspires me. Because at that time that you don't feel that you're doing your best, you're doing your best. Because you're actually helping someone else that's worse off than you. And someone is always worse off than you. So this has been your boy Eminem. I wanted to come in today on this Friday. It's, as they say, it's Good Friday. Every day is good, as far as I'm concerned. Every day is good, but this is Good Friday, going into the week of this is the Passion Week. You know, we know what this season is all about. It's all about the death of Christ. I hope you guys understand the true meaning of this week of as they say, Resurrection Day. To know that he rose for you, to give you an opportunity to live and not die. There was a thought that the Lord gave me. I think it was yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. I was walking through the house. You know, this is what I do. I walk through the house. I talk to myself, and I felt that he gave me this word, and it was very moving. It was very deep, and it touched me really deep in my core. And he says, "You were born to die so that you might live." I was like, whoa, think about that. Now, don't y'all be stealing don't you be making a book. Make sure you give me credit for it. But he told me, you were born to die so that you might live. Many of you will get that. A lot of you still scratching your head. But think about it. I'm going to leave you with that. You were born to die in order to live. All right, guys. This has been your boy Eminem. This is your today's motivation. Share this out with your friends, your loved ones, and those that you don't get along with. Remember, 3 very important things in life that as you go through this weekend is, in a moment, it is possible to lose everything you live for. The second thing was, credibility makes a difference in crisis. And the last one was, let's be less judgmental. Bless you guys. Appreciate you guys showing up today. Love you much. Good to see you, Mark. Man, really good to see you, man. I pray for you and your success, or pray for your family, that God continues to lay that path for you, because I know you're going to walk it. All right, you guys, be good, be blessed. Have an awesome weekend. Happy Resurrection Day to everyone that's watching, everyone that's listening. I pray for you. Pray for me. Pray for us as we continue to move in the direction that God is leading us, and continue to pray one for another. All right, guys. Love you much. We'll talk to you soon. We'll finish this out maybe on Monday or something. We'll see how I feel. But bless you guys. We'll definitely see you on the other side. Because remember, my motto, our motto, I don't want to leave without this, is love God, love yourself, and also love others. Why? Because you want you to live, hope, and change. Be blessed, guys. We'll see you on the other side. Peace out.